What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's daily devotional, and we are in the book of John. Man, we are going through seeing the heart of Jesus, and it has been magnificent. So, if it's your first time here, man, I'm glad you're here. This is Trust in Jesus Ministries, and what we do here is we want you to trust in Jesus more. And so, if you're here today, it's the start of the week. It's Monday, man. So, you are starting off right. All you got to do now is just continue watching and then learn more about who Jesus is, man. And that's easy here. Anyway, we also have a website called trustinjesusministries.com where you can get more content on how to grow in your faith, videos to help encourage you to walk that life of faith and trust in Jesus, and then some discipleship material to help you to trust in Jesus more if you don't know how, or to help someone else trust in Jesus more, man. And if you like what we're doing here, man, go ahead and give the video a like, subscribe, or if you're listening, give us a rating, or you can donate too as well if you love what we're doing here and want to help support us, because we do other ministries as well on the road, living in the van, trying to spread the gospel. We do a lot here, man. And all that you do by watching these videos, sharing the content, writing comments, man, we appreciate that definitely, man. And yeah, we praise God for that. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the scriptures, man. We're in John chapter 7, 19 through 24 again. If you haven't read that, go ahead and stop the tape, check it out, see what it has to say, and then we will come back and go over the 4 questions. But if you've already read it, let's go ahead and check out what it has to say. So what's going on, man? What's happening in the narrative here? Well, earlier we saw that Jesus having this discourse. He came up to the festival, the tabernacle, the Feast of Tabernacles, and he went to the synagogue and started teaching a little bit. And then they wondered where his teaching came from. He's like, man, it ain't from me, bro. It's from God. God is the one who has given me this knowledge and this understanding, man. And he says that they seek their own glory. And now he's going to specifically speak about some of those things. An example, he says, hey, man, Moses gave you the law. He said, but not really that it came from Moses. What Jesus is establishing is their premise or their idea of how to carry out or live life according to the law, according to the like how to live for God. And he's going to establish that, and he's going to show them in their own way how they are messed up in their thinking. Okay, so he says that, and then he says, why do you seek to kill me? Ooh, dog, it's crazy too. It's so funny because he says, Moses is giving you the law, but you don't even do it, man. Why do you seek to kill me? And so killing him is breaking the law. So he hadn't done nothing wrong. And so it's like they're breaking the law, this law that they glorify in, this law that they treasure, this law that they put their hope in, man. Remember earlier we talked about how Moses said that not that Moses said, that Jesus says that they put their hope in Moses, the law, and the law speaks of him, speaks of Jesus. Man, they are messed up, ain't they? Hey, don't worry. We messed up too. We'll see this. We'll see this. Anyway, the crowd's like, what? You got a demon, man. They're like, you crazy. That's what they're saying is like something's in you that's causing you to be insane and talk weird, talk messed up because of someone seeking to kill you. You're like, what are you talking about? So I'll bring up this warrant real quick to be able to like, how do they not know who this Jesus is? Jesus? Well, they didn't have social media back then. So it's not like Jesus is on the post and they see him and know who he is in every aspect, man. They don't recognize him probably because they've never seen him before. Some maybe have, and others maybe not. That's why they maybe don't recognize him as his teaching, asking, how does he know so much without ever actually going to school? Some of those things is because they don't recognize him. They've never seen him before. Now they've heard of Jesus. They know all about Jesus. So they're speaking about Jesus, talking about Jesus in a way that's kind of under the radar and scary because of the fear of the Jews, but they may not recognize at this specific time that is Jesus, but he's about to reveal himself. Because earlier, remember, he said he went up in secret too, that it wasn't in open, it was in secret. So when he started speaking at the synagogues, they may not have recognized him. Anyway, whenever he says this stuff, they say, you got a demon. Who's trying to kill you, man? And then he explains himself. He says, I do this one thing, and you're amazed. And this amazement is like, not wow, but it's more like, I can't believe he would do this. It's like a condoning type thing. It's like, or not condoning, condemning type thing. He's like, man, I can't believe he would do this. That's the amazement that they have. Not that he healed someone, which we're about to talk about. I ain't even said it yet, but it's not that he would heal somebody, but that he would tell somebody to pick up their mat on the Sabbath. They're like, man, we amazed at that. How could you do that? Anyway, he says, I do this one thing. And he says, Moses gave you this circumcision, right? Not that it came from Moses. He says, but it's from the fathers. But on the Sabbath, you circumcise somebody. And then he says, and you receive circumcision on the Sabbath and you do not break the law of Moses. And you're mad at me now because I make a whole person healed on the Sabbath. And so the idea is this: is that the Jews, the rabbis, the people who are studying the scriptures and trying to explain the law, the traditions, and how it handles, they say it's the reason that you can allow circumcision on the Sabbath is because circumcision is a perfecting rite. It's something that makes a person complete because it brings them and ushers them into, first off, the family, but it also makes them complete in their human body. So it establishes them as as part of the family of God, because that is the entrance into the covenant for the Hebrew people. But it also makes complete the human body for the male Hebrew. And so it's allowed to happen on the Sabbath. And the funny thing about it is that on the Sabbath is the day of rest, the day in which all things would come together, that we would find our peace and hope. And so it's like a beautiful mingling of the two when we see that a boy is made complete and entered into the covenant on the day of the Sabbath. And so Jesus is saying, if this is allowed for that, then how much more? Because this is just a single part of the body. Yet for Jesus to allow this man, or not, I mean, he is allowing because he's the authority, the power to give life to this man. How much greater is that than circumcision? Because circumcision is, in its essence, with all the powerful things I just said about it, is an external thing. It does no real significance according to making a person healthy or whole. But what Jesus has done is made a man who could not walk for 33 years or something like that able to move his legs again. And then he says this in response to that. He says, man, stop judging by the face of things and make right judgments. Judge justly. Judge justly. So what does this say about God? Well, first off, it's saying that God is a just judge because he is asking, or not asking, he's demanding, commanding these people to judge the way he does, with justice and equity. That not judging on appearance, the way things look, but judging the way according to the actions and the deeds and the circumstances that are here. That's a difficult thing, but God is the one who can do it. He's a just judge. And then second, Jesus is the fulfillment of circumcision and the Sabbath, man, because what Jesus has done in healing this man was take what was circumcision, which was a picture of making someone a whole person. It was a shadow of what was to come, and Jesus has fulfilled it in doing it for an actual person who is sick and in need of this help. So he's the fulfillment of this circumcision, which means life. And we saw that. He's the bread of life, right? The bread of life. He's the fulfillment of circumcision, the picture of life in the kingdom. He is the bread of life. But he's also the fulfillment of the Sabbath, man. Because this man who couldn't walk has been made whole. He has found rest. He has found peace. He has found comfort in the one who is named Jesus. And so the Sabbath rest that we want to receive, which we will receive when Jesus comes back, he has fulfilled that, man. That's who Jesus is. That's who God is. What's to say about man? First off, we be name calling. When we get something that stirs in us wrong, we like to name call, or we like to make fun of the other person rather than think about what's going on to see what's happening. Like to try and dissect the information that has been given to us to understand it and know it. Instead, we're like, you a bad person. That's what we do as sinful man. That's what we do as human beings. That's what we do as Christians too. We want to turn it on them when they're just trying to show us or reveal to us something about ourselves. And then second, man, we need to recognize the Savior, man. When Jesus says, stop judging by the face of things and judge with correct judgment, he is not just saying that we should judge justly, just like he does, but he's also saying, see who I am. You see, because it's in connection with the understanding of Moses, circumcision, and the Sabbath. And Jesus is saying, I'm the picture, I am the fulfillment. That is a picture of who I am. I fulfill the law of Moses, circumcision, and the Sabbath. He says, so recognize me. See me as the one who demonstrates who the Father is, the unique Son of God. So we must recognize Jesus. And then finally, we must judge justly. How do we apply these truths to our lives? First off, man, have we taken a deep look into who Jesus is? Have we taken a deep look into who Jesus is? If you're with me today, man, we are. And so I'm glad you're doing that. And I hope that it penetrates your heart and it's not just some listening or some hearing, but it's some listening. I hope that it's not just some reading, but it's some deep studying on who the person of Jesus is. And then secondly, where do you put duty above life? Man, not to say that duty is wrong, because trying to follow the laws of God are good, because they are his laws. They are good. They're great. That's what Paul talks about, says, man, they're awesome. But the question is, are you putting that above life, above relationship with Christ and with people, loving them, caring for them, demonstrating to them that grace is found through the one who gives all good gifts? I appreciate you guys for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.